One Percenter Podcast with Sam Bakhtiar, bringing you the 1% knowledge to help you reach your full potential. Learn what it takes to rise above the 99% and become a 1%er.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is your host, Sam Bakhtiar for the One Percenter Podcast, and I cannot believe I got Dean Graziosi in the house. You know, it's such an honor and pleasure, man. I've been a big fan of this guy for over a decade. You know, we met, over a decade ago, and I've been following him, not on social media because he just recently came on social media, but through his books and everything that he's doing. Dean, welcome.
Good to be here, Sam. What's up, man?
Well, I appreciate you, man. All good, man. Hey, I went through your bio, I looked you up, and man, Jesus, you weren't spoon-fed. You weren't raised in a everything wasn't given to you in a silver platter, was it?
No, and I think it depends on where you're listening from at this point of your life. Like, if I look, first off, man, I want to congratulate you on your success and what you're doing and doing the 1% podcast. Like, more of the world needs to get out there and share what they've discovered to help other people. Listen, and before I will answer that question, but I just want to tell everybody how smart they are. Maybe you already know this, and I'm not trying to be condescending, but most people talk about wanting more. Most people complain about the shit going sideways in their life. Most people complain about the income they have, but most of the world are not willing to do what it takes to gain it. And just by you taking the moment, the time to listen to this podcast, to get courses, to go to workshops, to read books, puts you ahead of everybody else. And that's why I just want to say, I love doing a podcast like this. I love doing an interview like this because I know those of you listening, you, Sam, we're kindred spirits. Yeah. We're all fighting for another level, and we're trying to gain capabilities that can get us there, right? There's dreamers who think about it, who complain about it, and there's action takers. So I love talking to action takers. So first off, congrats for your success.
Thank you.
Congrats for putting this podcast together, and everybody listening. Excited to have you here. And my goal today, if I'm going to take the time to be with you, Sam, and we're robbing 60 minutes from people's lives, I hope with all of me that I'll give you at least one thing that can course correct or put you on another path. If I talk about crap that doesn't serve you, throw it away. But listen for that one thing, because I have been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. I have failed miserably. I've had stressful nights. I've had sleepless nights. I've lost all my money, but simultaneously, I've also done over $1 billion in sales with my brands and my company. So I know every phase in between, broker than broke, in the middle, and crushing it at the top. And I never forget what each one of those phases are. So again, when I do an interview like this, I'm here to serve. I'm here to share. You know your audience better than anyone, Sam. So any question is not off limits. And let's take them on a ride. Yes, I had, like so many people, my childhood wasn't great, didn't come from money, didn't go past high school, had dyslexia, but that's my journey. It doesn't matter what my journey was. Some of you watching right now could have gone to the perfect college. Your parents paid for everything, but you're still miserable as shit because there's more gas in the tank. You have more to give the world. It doesn't matter where you're starting. What matters is that you gain the tools, then you take action to get where you want to go. So that's why I'm excited to talk to like-minded people.
Well, a lot of people, when they see someone like you or someone like me or anyone successful, they think that they had it easy. You from a small town in New York, and I'm from a small town in Pennsylvania, and I know how they think. I mean, their whole mentality is not like, is backwards. Everything is bad. Everybody's trying to take advantage of you. Everybody's trying to, get one over you. The whole mentality. Even when I go back,
my town.
Yeah, I'm from a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania. And I know the whole mentality. So when I heard that you're, from Marble, New York, I'm like, man, I bet you that's the same kind of mentality. When you said the body shop, I worked at a body shop. You said with your dad. It's crazy, and you overcome so much, but now, you're at a whole new level. And what I love about you is you're educating people. You're educating people through your programs, through your books, then how they can, become more, do more, and tell me about that.
Yeah, so one thing I'll share is a really good point, Sam, is at this phase of my life, right? I'm 50 this year. I've been on every, I've had this amazing journey, and I am an obsessive learner, and I'm obsessive of studying other people. And I have to say one thing I wish someone would have taught me when I was younger, and I think that if this might be the one thing for some of you, is what if, take you, Sam, little town in Pennsylvania, right? what if that was the design by God, the universe, whatever you believe in? What if that was, and I'll take a quote from my friend and buddy, Tony Robbins, when he says, what if we just changed our whole past by deciding that life happens for us, not to us?
Yeah.
What if it was our lot in life, Sam, to be born in little towns where most people are negative, where most people were blue collar in my town. Most people, if they made money, people said they probably sold drugs or cheated to get it, true, right? So when I first moved to Arizona with my information business, half people I went to school with said, "Oh, we must be going out there selling ecstasy or selling drugs." I never did, because I got ahead. I get that. So, but what if that was our design? What if God, the universe, allowed that? Decided that was our path, and we had to pay our success tax. We had to overcome the negative people. I had to overcome dyslexia. I had to overcome negativity in my life. I had to overcome, my parents got married 9 times when I was a kid. I moved 20 times. We got evicted. We had no cash. All those things. I had to overcome limiting beliefs on the inside that I wasn't smart enough to do it, that people would figure out that I'm not that intelligent. Like, what if that was just my path? And now I can look back and say, thank you for that journey, because it made me the man I am. It gave me the grit I have, gave me the ability to overcome obstacles. Like the movie Slumdog Millionaire. How did he answer all those questions? Because all the shit that happened to him in his life. You get where you are, Sam, by all the crap and obstacles you overcame. I mean, I don't want to get all cliche, but the smoothest stone in a stream is in the roughest part. We might have been in a rough part, but that gave us the ability to do this. So no matter where you are as you're listening or watch this right now, what if it was all designed for you? Even if it's really shitty, really, if it's really hard, really, if you think it's really unfair, but what if all of that is actually the ingredients for you to break through to your next level of life? And when you start looking at it like that, I'm not expecting you to go, "Oh, thanks, Dean, my whole life has changed." But what if you thought about that this week? Like maybe you had to overcome those obstacles so you'd be better at persuasion. I had a dad that used to freak out, and I learned really young that I could stop him from going off the rails and freaking out. And to this day, when I'm on stage, I still feel the energy of the audience, and I could take that audience on a journey. I learned that because I didn't want my dad to go nuts. Like that was a gift. I didn't know it was a gift when I was freaking out as a kid, but that was a gift. So I just want you guys, maybe we could frame this whole conversation today or think about that is everything that happened to this point in your life. What if it was supposed to be? And it happened for you so you could be a better version starting today. So I'd really love for you to think about that. And yes, I feel completely blessed. And jump in anytime, because sometimes I go on a rant.
Man. Dean. It's funny because at the time, when you're younger, things happen to you. You're like, why me? Why me? Why am I going through this? And now that you get older and you connect the dots, you're like, well, if that wouldn't happen, this wouldn't happen, and this wouldn't happen, I wouldn't be here. And I wish from the beginning, when I was younger, I can look at things like that. And now you're basically giving the life lesson away for those young people who are listening to this, or in any age. You're going through, you go through anything in life. I believe that God has a bigger plan for you than you do for yourself. You just have to go through adversity so that you can be blessed with what He has for you.
Yeah, and listen, if you're going through something crappy in your life right now, you don't want to go, "Oh, thank you for this shit fest that I'm dealing with." Like, you're not going to be grateful, but there is a framing shift in your mind. When I go through stuff now, I really do go, why is this happening? What can I learn from it? How can I use it as fuel? Like, I didn't think about that in my 20s. It just felt bad, maybe in my 30s. It still feels bad when something goes sideways, but there's a different framework around it. And here's what I know. And you probably know this too, Sam. Your next level, if you're listening right now, your next level of life, income, abundance, wealth lives on the other side of your biggest fear, your biggest obstacle, or the thing you're scared of the most. That's where it lives. Like, it's over there. Stop ignoring it. Stop being afraid of it. Stop thinking it's going to go away on its own. Course correct. Turn your ship towards the storm and face the crap, because when you get through the crap, when you learn that lesson, when you overcome the failure, you end a bad relationship, you end a partnership, you get out of the job, you finally do it, you're sick to your stomach. The other side of that fear is when you go, "Oh, now I see. Now I see."
That is, man, wow. In 5 minutes, man, you dropped so many knowledge bombs, man. I mean, for those of you guys who are listening to this, I'm telling you, man, that's what just changes when did you first realize, and start having that change and that shift in the mindset?
I've probably been working on my mindset and personal growth for over 20 years, on a regular basis, and I need it. Dude, I'll just be honest with you, Sam. My mind can fall back to limiting beliefs to this day. So if I'm not reading the right books, surrounding myself with the right people, I haven't watched the news in 10 years. Like if I'm not doing all the things that I know promote me to focus on where I want to go, changing those mindset, overcoming barriers, I could fall back to old habits and go, maybe I made enough money. What if the world changes? What if no one wants to, like, all those thoughts come in at every level. So we got to work on it on a regular basis. And especially when I wrote Millionaire Success Habits, I really went back and said, everybody wants these magical money machines. The internet's amazing. I love the connection, but it also has allowed everybody and their brother pitching something on how to get rich in 14 seconds. And I'm not being rude. Everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's got their own journey in life. But people are trying these magical money machines. Like, let me try this. Let me try Spotify. Or let me try Shopify. Oh, let me try real estate. Oh, let me try this. Let me try that. They're going all over and they're thinking something magically is going to happen. And what they're missing is the mindset and the habits. And that's why I wrote that book. And that's why I think it got so much momentum, because people are like, oh shit, I got to change my thinking. I got to change this habit, or I'm just going to keep on the treadmill.
So what are some of your success habits? Dean, what do you do? So what are your rituals for you to stay in this kind of mindset? Do you have a certain ritual that you do every day, or these are something that it's just embedded in you? You've done it, and it's just something that automatically happens.
Dude, I'll ask you. Dude, you're in amazing shape, dude. You look amazing. Great job, bro. I know what it takes to get in that kind of shape. I work out every day. But let me ask you, what does it take to be in shape like that? Were you able to go to the gym like 6 months ago and work out like an animal for 3 days and you get to look like that?
No, absolutely. I tell people the
same thing.
How often
are you in the gym?
I'm an hour and a half in the gym, 7 days a week.
Okay, 7 days a week. Okay, and for that, does being in good shape, is that one of your focus? Like
Absolutely.
You focus on
Absolutely.
Right. Do you read stuff about being in good shape?
Absolutely.
When you go to a restaurant, do you most of the time, we all cheat once, but most of the time, do you make a decision that's healthy for your body?
Absolutely.
Right. Do you ever work out with a friend or a trainer that inspires you or pushes you to go further?
Absolutely.
Dude, you look like that because you're putting focus, attention, you're learning, and you're growing. I don't want to oversimplify it, but if you're struggling financially, you're dabbling. If Sam went to the gym once a week and ate fried food and drank soda, he wouldn't be sitting there looking all jacked. He looks that way because he's putting focus in. I work on my personal growth and my mindset every single day. I either listen to a book, I watch a movie, I talk to a friend. Every day I'm trying to say, no, that thought screws me up. That thought, that direction makes me question my confidence. That thought sucks. How do I extract that? How do I go down this path? How do I work on always having a compelling future? How do I replace anger with compassion? How do I not let ego fuck me up? Like all of those things all the time, just like you going to the gym 7 days a week. And the only reason you're successful, Sam, is because you put that same kind of focus in your business and the same kind of focus in your podcast. You wouldn't have success if you didn't. If you have a shitty relationship and you have revolving doors, it doesn't mean you're a bad human. It just means you're not putting attention in it. Like literally, I screwed up relationships my entire life. I'm just being honest. I wasn't that good in relationships. I'm in the best relationship of my life for the last year or two. I'm getting married in 3 weeks.
Congratulations.
I'm never going to screw this one up. I'm never going to screw it up, Sam. I focus on it every single day. I got a counselor. I work with a coach to make sure that my heart is always open. I got rid of ego. I got rid of compassion. My whole life is about that relationship. And it's the most amazing relationship I've ever had in my entire life. Like every day is incredible because I put the same attention that I did in my businesses that do $1 billion. I kind of was hoping relationships just worked on their own, like hoping you get in good shape by not working out. Now that it's got my attention consistently for 18 months, 24 months, it's magical, Sam. Like I'm 50 in this ridiculously awesome, connected, friendship, passionate relationship. What did I do different? It's got my focus, it's got my attention, and I work on it every day. Don't look for the magical money machines. Don't look for some magical thing I'm going to tell you that's going to allow you to get rich when at the end of the day, it's always the little things. You want to be wealthier? You want to have your own business? It needs your focus, your attention, your obsession. You need to overcome obstacles. You can't listen to jackasses giving you bad advice. And it's 50% harder than you think. Our world today, everybody thinks you get rich in 5 minutes. It's harder than you think. But at the end of the day, is it worth it? Hell yes. It's worth it 1,000,000 times over. You're going to deal with shit no matter what decision you do in life. You might as well do your own thing or pursue growth.
Dean, so people are hearing you right now. They say, well, I know this is what I have to do, but why don't I do it? Everyone knows that this is what they have to do. You give them the formula, but yet tomorrow they won't do it. and they say they're going to do it, they won't do it. They say they're going to do it, they won't do it. Kind of like when someone says, I'm going to get in shape, I need to lose weight, but next thing you know, they don't do it. What should they do?
Really good question. I would say there's a million answers, but I would boil it down to human needs and human desires. People make a decision based all in life about avoiding pain and going towards pleasure. That's 100% of all of us. We could boil everything. You want a relationship because being alone is painful. Being with someone you love is pleasure. You want to be in good shape because being out of shape is kind of a pain. You get sick, you don't look good, you feel embarrassed going to the beach with your shorts on. Go to the beach looking jacked, looking amazing, being in shape, it's pleasureful. Being broke sucks, it's pain. You might be listening because you want to be away from broke, you want to be away from struggle, and you want to go towards money. That, like, not trying to oversimplify it, it's pleasure and pain. But what most people do is obsess on just the pleasure when actually pain moves you more than anything else. So you might be saying, I want to look like Sam and be ripped and be in great shape. But it's not, I'm not, I don't have the time, I'm too busy. At first, it just means it's not that important to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Or you haven't found a big enough compelling future for the money, for the shape, for the relationship, whatever you decide to plug this into. But I'm going to give you a little hack. Mm-hmm. Instead of just looking like, man, it would be great to have money and live in a 15,000 square foot house and fly on private jets and have an amazing Lambo or Ferrari in my garage. That would all be amazing. But what most people think about is just that. I'm going to give you a little hack. Yeah. Pain moves you more than anything else.
Yeah, well, tell me about it.
What I would say is, instead of thinking what you could have, I want you to think about what it's going to feel like when you leave your life exactly the way it is. I want you to know I want you to feel at this very moment that it's 5 years from today and you woke up and you're still saying the same shit. I don't like the job. I wish I had more money. I could have lost the weight. Don't just say it. Feel what it would feel like in 5 years from now if your life stayed okay. Someone says in 5 years from now, hey man, how's your life? You're like, it's okay, it's good. How's your income? It's good. Fuck good. Like, get disturbed with good. Get disturbed with okay. Yeah. Get disturbed with inaction and focus on how is it going to feel in 5 years if you don't move the needle in your life? How's it going to feel in 10? Yeah. I don't know about you, Sam. How fast did the last 5 years go by in your life?
Like that. It's like that. It's
like
crazy.
A blip. The last 5 years go by. Your next 5 years is going to fly by. Do you really want to be in the same place? Now, am I saying rich or not? But it all starts with you taking the initiative, taking action. Do whatever it takes. If you're disturbed by pain, then feel the pain of staying where you are. Feel the pain of staying overweight. Feel the pain of staying broke. Feel the pain of staying in a job that you don't love. Feel the pain that you're settling into complacency.
Gosh.
Who the hell wants to settle?
Gosh, man. Oh my God, bro. That is so true. For me, the reason I am where I am because I fucking hate being broke. Where I was broke my whole life, and I said once, I'm an adult. I don't want my family to be broke. I don't want my family to go through, what we went through. I don't want anyone pushing my family around, and my
Same
God,
here.
man, it's absolutely crazy, man. I'm just taking it all in, bro. I'm just taking it all in. Like this is church. This is church. So tell me, when did you? I know. At one time, reading through your bio, man, you actually slept in the bathroom with your dad because that was the only room that was warm enough. Your dad lost, the business. You moved your business, your body shop into the barn. You came back. You begged and pleaded with the lady to give the shop back. Tell me that process. How did you at that time? The reason I'm asking you that question, did you at that time at a young age, did you believe that you were going to crush it? Did you believe that, I'm going to take this, I'm going to beg this lady to give me this, I'm going to crush it, I don't care what happens? Or did you have some doubt, some fear? What was going through your mind at that young of an age? Because that's a pretty big overhead to take and a pretty big responsibility to take, taking over a body shop and you're not having to, you have to come up with the money later.
Yeah, you know what? Really good question, man. No one's ever asked me that, and I like when I get a question I've never been asked before. I would lie if I said I wasn't scared, but it's almost like being a split, and I would bet to say you could experience this, Sam. It's like almost being like you have a split personality. Like there's days, and this is before I worked on my personal growth every day. I mean, to this day, I still get nervous. We have a big company. We do millions and millions of dollars every single week. Like it's big. I still get nervous sometimes, but I've been training my brain for so many years. But I would say going through that in my late teens, my early 20s, there were days where I got this. I can do this. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care if people tell me I'm crazy. I don't care that people say I'm a dreamer. I don't care that I have the money. Remember this for the rest of your life. Most people think you need resources to be successful. That's bullshit. You need to be resourceful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need resources. You need to be resourceful. And I can feel like if I don't have it, I'll get it. If I don't understand how to run this body shop, this collision shop that my dad lost and I took back on my own, I'll figure it out. I don't have money to buy real estate. I'll knock on enough doors. I'll figure it out. I'll get somebody to sell me something. Like, I'll figure it out. And then there's other days that I'd wake up and be like, who the fuck am I kidding? I'm not that smart. I don't have any money. When this goes sideways, I don't have a mom or a dad that can lend me money. I don't have any freaking credit cards. I don't have a college education. I don't know how to do books, and I don't know how to do, my bookkeeping to pay taxes. And I'd do that, and I'd have sleepless nights, and I'd be sick to my stomach. And what I realized is that voice at this phase was full of shit. That was the scared subconscious. That was me listening to the outside world. That was me listening to friends that weren't qualified. That was me watching the news that told me that life was going to hell in a handbasket, and it was wrong, Sam. And what I've done over the years is do everything in my power to protect my confidence. So my visionary voice, my next level voice, the one that could get through a freaking steel wall, I want that guy to be in charge, not the wimpy little baby that's crying, we're not gonna make it. And I do everything in my power to enforce the strength and kick the shit out of the scaredy cat. And that's why I got into personal growth. That's why I work on it every day, because nothing works. No success, no next level income works when your confidence is down. Sam, I mean, have you ever done anything good in your life when your confidence was down? Did you get the girl?
No.
Close the deal?
Nope.
You make the money? Your confidence is down. Even if it's down 5%, you're like, maybe this won't work, or we'll try it next year. Do everything in your power to protect your confidence. And if you watch the news and you feel like shit, you read the newspaper, you feel insecure when you're done, then throw the newspaper away and never read it again. Don't watch the news. Don't surf online watching, different stations that ding your confidence. If you got a friend in your life that keeps telling you you're a dreamer, freaking bolt from that friendship or become Teflon and don't talk about those things.
So good,
if your parents are telling you stop dreaming, that's their problem. That's because they probably went through the depression, or their grandparents went through the depression, and they're trying to protect you, but they're not right. Because if you do what your parents do, you'll have the life they have. And I'm guessing you want something different than what your parents have. So you just have to find ways to put up barriers and protect that confidence. So the voice of strength, the voice that stares towards your compelling future, is in charge. And I have to tell you, my entire 20s, the compelling future badass Dean was in charge about 60% of the time. 40% of the time was wimpy, scared, ready to throw up, sleep at night guy. And over life, it just got shorter and shorter and shorter. That guy still jumps in about 5%. I hate him. He's still there. Down to about 5%.
So you said at one time you invested in a course with Tony Robbins, and that's when you literally changed your life.
Totally shifted my life.
So tell me about that.
Tony's one of my dearest friends. We talk every single day now, but he wasn't 20 years ago. He was just a guy I watched an infomercial on. And for some reason, Sam, I just believed him. Like, I watched him. Nobody in my family read books. Nobody in my family ever got a personal growth course. And I was an idiot to my friends and family that I spent $300 for this thing on an infomercial.
That's 20 years ago. That was a lot of money.
Yeah, and $300 was $1 million to me when I bought it. But I remember I got that course. I was already in business. I was already working on houses and condo and apartments, and I had my collision shop and selling cars. But my mindset wasn't there yet. And I read that course or listened to that course, and I just believed him, and thank God I did. Like, I wrote in my journal 20 years ago that someday I need to meet him and thank him. Luckily, business went the way it was. We had a mutual friend. We met 10 years ago. We've been dear friends ever since. And I thanked him. I mean, when I first saw him, when I first met Tony, because of the shift he made in my life, if you would have said to me before I met Tony, if you could meet any human being in the world, who would it be? It would have been Tony Robbins, just to simply thank him. Yep. Just to thank him for a different mindset. Yep. Because it changed everything. I already knew how to make money, but I didn't know how to overcome the obstacles, focus on the better version of me, all those barriers that most people deal with. That anchored me in and shifted everything. And it also introduced me to self-education. Within 2 years of buying Tony's course, I was on TV with an infomercial selling information to try to help other people go faster. I mean, just think about that for a living. Imagine you get to extract what you know. Sam, you do it every day. Yep. You extract what you know, you give it to other people, they go faster and you get paid.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, is there anything else in the world you'd rather do?
Everybody wins. And it's a fulfillment part. I'm sure you get, how many messages you get every day, Dean, you changed my life.
Daily.
Changed my
Literally
life.
Thousands daily.
Did you ever, you invested in his course, $300, went and applied it, and you wanted to meet him, you met him, but now you're his business partner. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Pretty amazing.
You're his business partner, and you have a program called KBB, which I invested in.
Blueprint. Yeah, the Knowledge Business Blueprint. Man, here's what we decided. We've been friends for 10 years. We've been talking for the last 8. Should we do something together? And then every time we decide we miss each other, we end up going play. I play golf 3 times a year. It's with Tony. So we end up go play golf. We go to lunch. We talk. We have fun. We fly to different places. And then we're like, we'll get to a business idea later. But for the last couple of years, all we've talked about is how blessed we are that we found self-education. For him, it was Jim Rohn that kicked him off. For me, it was Tony. Yeah. So I get to talk to the guy that started me down that journey. And we said, for me, Sam, I don't know about you. I wasn't that smart in school. And my guidance counselor looked at my grades, looked at I didn't take my SATs and I wasn't going to college. And she said, no college? And she said, maybe you could work with your dad in a collision shop, or gave me the name of the only factory in our town that was hiring at minimum wage. So like literally the way the world is programmed, it's like, college and perfection, and I'm not knocking college, or no college, you're screwed. And thank God both Tony and I found self-education. We found people that have already been there, that share their knowledge. We absorbed our knowledge, applied it, and we got to go on and do some amazing things in the world. So in the last couple of years, we decided, why don't we create the gold standard blueprint to teach people that don't even realize that they have an expertise or a skill that other people want, how to extract what you know, share it with people, impact their lives, and get paid to do it. So we worked on a year. We launched that blueprint, that training, probably 3 months ago now. And we literally we broke the internet. It's become a movement. I mean, everybody enrolled. If you're a part of it, you understand.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
16,000 people in a Facebook group who are extracting what they know. And we also taught people how to be a broker or a reporter. If you look at Tony, I'll take him for example. Tony wrote one of the best-selling financial books of all time, Money Master the Game, right? Crushed it. #1 New York Times bestseller. Tony's not the money guy. He's the reporter of other people's knowledge. He just loved that niche so much because he wanted to help people. So he interviewed the top financial guys in the world, took their data, correlated it, wrote a book, best book in the ever. He's not the financial guy. So what we teach people is how do you share your knowledge, identify your core competency, identify the people that want it, have them pay you for that knowledge, impact their life, keep going on, or become the reporter. And it's unbelievable. Like, we spent a year putting this course together. We condensed our decades into days, right? Delivered it. And it's, I think it's definitely a movement, and it fills our mission to make self-education the new norm. I never want another kid sitting in front of a guidance counselor saying, it's either college or you're screwed. I want in the next 15 years to be, it's like college or no college, either way. There's also the thing down the middle you need to be doing, and that's being a part of the self-education industry, learning from others who have already been there.
So my question to you is, why people, Dean, don't take self-education seriously?
I think the truth is, I think we still have the residual effect of a school system that was created during the Industrial Revolution. I mean, if you look, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Harvey Firestone, if you don't know who Carnegie is, if you're listening, he was the richest man in the world at the time, owned all the railroads, all owned the steel mills and things like that. You know who Henry Ford was? He invented the assembly line, and pretty much 90% of every car that came out in the 20s and 30s and 40s was a Ford. Harvey Firestone, Firestone tires. Those guys during the Industrial Revolution in America needed factory workers more than anyone, like those and multiple other people during the Industrial Revolution. So what did they do? The school system was designed around bells and whistles and timing and 1-hour lunches, group people together no matter what their status is, just do your job, show up on time. They wanted to create you through school, go through college, do the same thing, and end up working for them in their factory. The unfortunate part, that shit never changed. So if you think about this, really think about this question, Sam. If you and I were together, we're hanging out, we have a magical time machine, and we grab somebody from 1920, and we bring them here. And you and I show them an iPhone and go, look at Google and look at maps and look at Amazon and all these things you can do, people's minds like, oh my God, and look at the planes flying over. You can get on a plane, go all the way to Europe without stopping. They'd be like, oh my God. And then we bring them to a classroom. You know what they'd say? Wow, the blackboards are white now.
That's the only thing that's changed. That's the only thing that's changed.
What's changed? My dad's 85 this year. Nothing's changed when he went to school compared to my son now, who's 10. Right? So what happens is we've been programmed that we have to learn through a school system. We've been programmed that we have to go to school. And I'm not knocking you if you went to school. Please know that. But I'm just saying that's the way we're programmed. And then when you see somebody go, hey, I've been in business for 20 years. I want to write a book. People go, that's bullshit. I'm going to get it from my professor. Your professor? He's a professional teacher. I'm not being rude. I'm just being honest. I'd rather learn from a non-professional teacher who's done what I want to do, whether it's a year more than me or 10 years more than me. I can learn a lot more from them in a weekend than I can in freaking 3 years of school. But guess what? It's not just me. The world knows this to be true, and they're voting with their credit cards. The knowledge industry just passed $355 million a day in sales online alone, and Forbes just came out with a report that by 2025, the knowledge industry will be $1 billion a day. Colleges are in trouble. People are exiting colleges at a mass exodus. And here's the thing. I'll say one last thing, not knocking colleges. This is a wake-up call. If you're a part of a college, step up or you're going to be passed. I don't want colleges to go out of business. I want them to change what the hell they're doing. If colleges don't want to be blockbuster, they're going to have to shift to more self-education, to teaching shit people actually need to thrive in today's world, or they're going to be obsolete.
Man, so how can we, as a whole, because I agree with you 100%. I'm the guy who went to 8 years of school, got my doctorate degree because my mom said you have to become a doctor, lawyer, engineer, because if you're not one of those three, you're nobody. And as soon as I got my doctorate degree, I gave it to my mom. I said, Mom, go ahead and brag your son is a doctor, but can I go open up my business now? And I've never used an iota of that. How can we educate people that there's a different option? There's a different thing. It's not like, okay, it's not all or nothing. And how can we educate people that, life is all about learning. It's about evolving. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Information is changing, times are changing. And if you're not doing that, you're going to be left behind. You're going to be obsolete. You're going to be a dinosaur.
Yeah, so I would just say, if you're still listening or watching right now, did you learn anything today from me through my experience that could allow your life to go faster towards the direction you want? I'm hoping you say yes. I'm hoping there's more than one thing. That's all self-education is. I've been there. If you haven't experienced what I have experienced, and I know what didn't work and I know what did work, and I could get you in a room and show you that over a weekend, would you rather learn that or go through a traditional pattern or path that someone else created that was really designed 100 years ago? Yeah. I said this on stage. I was just at Tony's Wealth Mastery event, amazing crowd. And I said, if you're having, who in here has their own business or has an expertise or a skill that you've been working on for over a year? 99% of the room raised their hand. I said, this is the best way I can explain it to you. What would you pay right now, whether you're 10 years in your business, 20, 30, 40, 5 minutes in your business, what would you pay if you could go back in time and spend a weekend with your 20-year-old self? Say, hey, you're going to get in the marketing business. You're going to get in the real estate business. You're going to get in the hair design. You're going to get in putting extensions, whatever business you could be. You're going to be a life coach. You're going to do it for 20 years, but I want to spend a weekend, condense decades into days. What would you pay yourself to come back for just a weekend and say, oh, don't ever do this. When you go down this path, this doesn't work. You could fail miserably. But I want you to go down this path. How much further would you be ahead? How much easier would life be? Or as your old self, would you rather say, I'd rather go back to college for 7 years? 100% of the people in that audience, which probably 80% were college educated, said, I'd rather go be with my younger self and tell them what I know now, and it's priceless. Somebody said, I'd spend $1 million for that. That's what self-education is. Why learn through your own trial and error? Why learn from someone who's never actually done it, when in today's world, we can learn from someone who's been there? Even if they're just a chapter ahead of you, they could have you avoid the pitfalls and go faster on the things that actually
Why learn from somebody who hasn't even done it? That is profound. That is profound, man, because it's so true. I was talking to Randall Pitch, the owner of Live Fit, and he said he dropped out, and like I said, he dropped out and because he found out that he was already making more money than his professor. His professor was making 60. He was already into the six figures. He goes, well, why am I listening to this guy? You want to listen to somebody who's doing better than you and who kind of inspires you and and things like that. So, so when you got into the infomercial business, it really hadn't been done before. I think Tony was the only one done it before you, or were you the first one?
In the infomercial business?
Yes.
Oh no, Tony was definitely in it before me. He was my inspiration. The first thing I did though is I was the first one ever to sell a book on TV, direct to consumer, cut out the middleman, be able to sell a book cheaper to them. So I think I did the first kind of sit down interview, Larry King style interview selling a book. That really helped transform my industry, transform my life, my revenue, and the impact I got to make on people. But the infomercial world, it seems like it's dead. It's not. It's still a great way to get in front of people's faces. And that was just the path I went, only because I bought Tony's course off an infomercial. And this dates me, but when I started, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was barely an internet. So in 1998, when I wanted to get my information to help people go faster out to the world, I thought, how else to do it but an infomercial? So that's how I ended up in that industry. Nothing else fancier than that. It was a delivery system to get my information into people's hands.
Speaking of that, now that you brought it up, what took you so long to get into social media? What prevented you? Was there any fear, any letback? Because you're the guy who's always evolving. You're always at the top of the things. You're the forerunner. You're the first. You're the person who's always ahead of the curve. But on social media, on Instagram and Facebook, you were a little behind, right? I would say about 4 years behind.
I'll tell you why. Because my infomercial business and my book business and my live event business was over $150 million a year.
I don't need this crap.
Great. And the truth is, I was like, I don't want to have to go live every day or go do stories. And I just kept ignoring it because we were making a massive impact on people's lives. My business was thriving. My employees were loving it. Our students were on fire. But then just one day about 2 years ago, I think in the personal growth space, maybe Tony, but not many people besides Tony have done more revenue and impacted more lives than me. And a couple of years ago, there was a younger kid, just acquaintance of somebody in my office, and somebody said something about the impact, and the kid said, you have 15,000 followers on Instagram, you're nobody. Right? I did over $1 billion in sales, but I only had 15,000 followers on Instagram. I'm a nobody. But it really got me thinking that there was a whole generation that needed this information too that I wasn't approaching. And it didn't make me mad. It made me mad at myself for not looking at it sooner. But here's the cool thing. Social media accepted me so well. 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, we had 15,000 followers on Instagram. We just passed 740,000. My page is on fire. Facebook over a couple million. We've sold 600,000 books on social media alone. Like we're getting great momentum. My YouTube channel, we haven't focused on that. We're putting attention on that. I expect to have an incredible YouTube channel. And I love it because I get to access and deliver value and things that can allow a whole new generation to go faster through a different medium. And then, so that's that. And then this evolution with Tony and I of deciding that we wanted to create a process and a system that if you're listening right now, if you die someday with knowledge in your brain that could help someone else go faster, you should feel guilty. That's what Tony and I want the world to see, that you're an expert, you have a skill, you have a passion you could help other people. If you're just one chapter, 1 year ahead of them, God forbid if you're 10 or 20 years ahead, you should feel obligated to extract it, share it with them, allow them to go faster, impact their lives, and get paid to do it. So that's why we created a course. And of course, like we talked about, we created a process to be the reporter. So that's why my life right now, probably for the next 20 years, is going to be about the knowledge business, about getting everybody enrolled, that before I leave this earth, we want to make self-education a new norm. And how we fix the education system, how we impact lives, how we all make more money is by solving the education problem, by getting them immersed. And you got enrolled in what Tony and I are teaching is extracting what you know, share it with people, have them go faster, get paid, do it again.
Well, you just stole the next question out of my mouth because I was going to tell you, like, what are you going to do from here on? And you already answer it. You already achieved so much. I mean, through your infomercials, through your businesses, through your books, you have achieved so much. And now for the next 20 years, you see a problem in the education system and you want to be able to empower everyone. You probably can stop working years ago and you're fine. but what drives you is now to serve, right? You want to be able to fulfill.
True story. I wouldn't say it was always that way, Sam, but right now, and Tony helped me with this. Tony's a machine. That guy works. I don't know many people work more than me. That guy does.
Same.
He's 10 years older than me. He's a freaking machine, but his whole life is impact. Before he leaves this earth, he wants to help millions of more people that need him. And I have to tell you, I've always felt that at some level, but the last 5 years, it's my obsession. I'll never quit working. I promise you, if you'll have me on a show, I'll be on here when I'm 100 years old, because I want to help people go faster, because I feel like I didn't have that voice or someone to help me until I found Tony. I want to be that for other people. So now I could have bailed. I could have bounced out a long time ago, but I never will. It's not about the money anymore. And I feel blessed to say that. I'm not discrediting it. Money solves problems. But this phase of my life, it's impact. I'm writing my next book will be out in 3 months. The knowledge business blueprint I'm doing with Tony is transforming the world.
Can you talk about your next book and the name and what it's all about?
Yeah, my next book, and nobody knows it because as I'm recording this with you, I'm just finished up, but it's called The Underdog Advantage.
You heard it here first, The Underdog Advantage.
Yeah, it's how you think. There's certain things in your life where you think they're a disadvantage,
but they're really
when they're actually waiting to be the tool that drives you to your next level.
Oh, I totally believe in that. And piggybacking on what you said, when I was poor, and when I was into financial crisis, when I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, when I didn't know when if I would be able to pay the rent or the mortgage, it's hard to think about fulfillment. It's hard to think about giving to other people when you can't even eat. It's hard to, I always tell people, you can't save somebody from swimming if you don't know how to swim, from drowning if you don't know how to swim. And once your basic necessities are met, when your life is good, now you're concentrating on giving back and making an impact. And I want to congratulate you, Dean. Like I said, I'm such a huge fan of yours. I'm such a huge fan of Tony's. And to have you on this podcast, it's an honor and pleasure. I'm looking forward to your book, and I'm also looking forward. Are you relaunching the KBB because you closed it?
Oh yeah, Tony and I, when we went live last time, we had over 200,000 people show up to watch us live, more than anybody's ever done, especially in the self-education space. It was unbelievable. We did the largest launch of a product in internet history, and now we've been working on the next level, the 2.0 version, and Tony and I are going at it again. If you missed us last time, if you saw us last time, you're gonna wanna watch the training. The 2 hour or so training that we're gonna do is worth more than anything. In retrospect, I wanted to make the 2 hours of us going live so valuable that when people are done, it's like, oh my God, how could I have missed that? So we did that. If you were there, you know exactly what we did. We're doing it again. And I have a URL, because if you're watching, you need to go reserve a spot. And we made a simple little URL for you, Sam. It's called samsbonus.com. So samsbonus.com, if that's cool.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so if you go to samsbonus.com, there's nothing for sale there. All that is to register to come on a training with Tony and I, where you can watch live, interact, and be a part of it. That'll absolutely transform. If you liked what we talked about today, if you like the ability to make an impact on other people's lives, if you like the ability to make more money, then you're going to want to go to samsbonus.com, reserve a spot. It's going to be unbelievable.
The thing is, some of the free stuff that you guys give is worth more than stuff that people are charging tens of thousands of dollars. Because I watched it and I'm like, I can't believe they're giving this away for free. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't believe, this information people charge tens of thousands of dollars, but you guys are giving away for free. So if you guys are not taking advantage of it, then don't tell me you want to be successful. Don't tell me that you want to better your life. The guys are giving you tens of thousands of dollars worth of information right in front of you, and it's free. If you're not watching that, then you're just telling me that you want to be the same. You want to be that guy 5 years from now bitching about the same situation over and over and over again. Exactly. I can't understand that mentality, but I guess there's some people out there and they just want to bitch about things and stay the same, yet they don't want to take the action.
Yeah, Sam, I have to tell you, man, this is the first time you and I have had a long conversation. We met before, but I really enjoy it, man. I look forward to keeping in contact, and keep up the good work. I know you're impacting so many lives, and it's just like dominoes, man. The more lives you impact, the more people come in, the more people you learn, and I know you got that same itch. It's like we want to give people the tools to go faster, help improve their lives, and then they tell their friends. Our companies get to flourish while we get to change lives. I mean, what could be better?
They coming from someone like you, you just made my day. I appreciate you, man. I love you. I'm going to keep watching you. I'm going to, keep promoting you. And there's anything that I can do for you, and let me know. Just real quick before we wrap this up, where can more people find out more about you? We know the Sam's training thing, right? Now, is there, what's your social media handle? What is your website? What else other people can know? Because we're going to put it on the show notes, and I want everybody who's watching this to find out.
I'd say follow me on Instagram. My Instagram page, it's the only place that I do a story every single day. I go live consistently. We grew literally 700,000 people in the last 18 months, and it's growing like crazy. We're making impact there. You can learn about my life, but I'm not the guy that just shows you what I ate. I'm not the guy that's not what I do. Every day I'm delivering a message that I think can help you go faster towards your goal. That's my whole desire. That's why I think we're growing so fast. So follow me at Dean Graziosi, at Dean Graziosi on Instagram. I think that's a great start.
Well, that's a wrap. Hey, for those of you guys who are watching, you see massive value in this. Make sure you go to the show notes. Make sure you follow Dean. Make sure you watch the free training. Dean, wow. Thank you,
got it,
brother.
man. Thanks, dude.
God bless you, man. Thank you. See you soon.